Hey guys, it's Moonlit here. Today, well, you can call me Moonlit, you can call me Luminous, you can call me Valkyria, you can call me Gabriel, which is my actual name. I don't really mind. I have so many names. Um, so today I'm gonna do something a bit different. Today we are going to look at a POV that I did on Grim Battle 16, which is a really hard key on what a World of Warcraft. I can't fucking say that for the life of me. But if you're not interested in the gameplay, that doesn't really matter. What I want to talk over is basically about my life, and this is going to be a no script talk. So I'm not going to. I'm gonna be stopping quite a lot. I'm gonna be saying all the time. So if you're bothered with that, I'm sorry. Um, I've put some music at the background, and that's because my microphone keeps disabling when I don't get any audio input. And so yeah, um, so I'm gonna play the video, and you guys are gonna watch the POV, and I'm going to talk about life pretty much as we go through the dungeon. So let's begin. So why did I want to make this video? So I think the main reason why I'm making this video is because I want to snapshot this moment of my reality, and document it in a way that I can look and maybe 10 years from now and compare how my life was and how my life is. And the reason why I'm doing this in English is because um, I really like talking in English instead of Portuguese, and maybe this reaches out uh, to a broader audience because I'm speaking in a you know language that everybody knows pretty much. Um, so where to start? I don't want to show, like, this is going to be obviously a intimate vlog about my life and about my experience with living, but I feel like it's necessary for me to put this out and maybe hear people's opinions, maybe have an outlook on how people view issues and deal with them. Life is so complicated that uh, we we live in a bubble where we don't realize how people can manage certain situations and how different they manage situations, like depending on their personality and everything like that. So to start, um, I am a 27-year-old computer science student, um, and I one of my hobbies is playing video games. As you can see, lately, WoW has been the only video game that I play because it's honestly the only one that I'm really good at, and it's where I mainly put my focus on. So let me lower the music a little bit. Um, so since I don't want to reveal too much about my teenage life, I'm not gonna talk about that because honestly, I don't want to relive the whole story. Um, but I have a very loving family and a lot of friends. I wasn't bullied in school, even though I was a very odd individual. Um, and my family is mainly has mainly had an academic focus. So my parents are university teachers, professors. I mean, and my brothers and sisters, they have, all of them have high education, and they have uh, either PhDs or masters, and they are well enough in life, I would say. That is something that happens in my family, both from my dad and from my mom. Um, the family is well off in both ways, so I kind of feel like an outlier because I am 27 and I don't have a degree yet. Uh, doesn't mean that I have any cognitive issues or disabilities or anything like that. I just have an issue with studying and with planning and with making good decisions. But it strikes a nerve on people, I guess, because it's the first thing that they realize when I talk about life is that um, I don't have any higher education yet, and to be honest, I'm not close to finishing as well. There are many reasons as to why that is, but I guess people fail to understand and care um, because they only see a number. I guess they only see uh, the stamps that people put on one another, and that's how they look at people in life. Where I live in Brazil, not having higher education is detrimental for like your life. If you don't have higher education, you live in a very sketchy situation because um, the types of jobs that you can get without a degree are very limited, and you don't have a lot of support in life. Uh, if you choose not to pursue an academic career or of any proportion, so you have to do that. You have to develop a you know a uh, a skill to enter the market. Um, so my situation uh, with university is that I was always a very mediocre student. I didn't really like studying. I thought it was a chore, and I've never liked the subjects that I've had in school and middle school. So I didn't really develop you know, an interest towards that kind of stuff. But the field that I currently study, which is computer science, is actually really interesting, and I love programming. And I want to develop that skill further so I can, find a job that that is challenging, that is fun, that deals with that. And I'm not sure where I want to land exactly. I am doing some things to like see what I like. For example, right now I'm taking a course of data science, but um, I really like everything about computer science, and I love everything about programming. And I fell in love uh, with making stuff and like problem solving, pretty much. So why do you have such a big drive on programming? You like it so much, and yet you haven't finished university. So let me tell you how it all began. When I graduated the high school, there's a national test that you take that has different ways depending on the field that you choose, depending on the degree that you choose. So if you choose like an engineering degree, your your calculus and your physics is gonna weigh more, pretty much. Um, so that situation was that first I took that test and I didn't get a very good grade, and because of that, um, I wasn't able to enter the federal university of my state. And here in Brazil, federal universities are the best universities you can enter because they're public, which means that they're free, and they have the best professors. They have like the best resources. The infrastructure of university is not that great compared to others, but the um, the professors are very high quality, and you it puts you in a spot in on the market if you came from a good federal university. So I didn't pass on the first try of my exam. It's an early exam that you do for the grade, and so I I joined a little school that like helps you develop like better skills for that test, and I chose to join a private university in the meantime, so I can like know if I really like programming or not. Because really, my only connection with programming and developing was just playing video games, right? So I was kind of lost. I didn't know what I wanted, but it ended up being a match made in heaven because I really liked uh, the the subjects that I was taking on the first semester of the private university I was in. So midway through, maybe on the second semester, I actually passed the selection for the federal university, and I got admitted um, for like, and like I I was there for maybe 3 semesters, and the federal university was really high quality. It was very competitive, and people there were extremely smart. So I was maybe getting dwarfed by the people that were studying there because they were really really good, and it felt like I was like a fish outside the bow, because it just I just felt out of place. I felt like I didn't deserve to be amongst so many good students, like people doing programs that I took hours, they did it in like minutes. And but I uh I was at the university for some time, and I was actually passing all the subjects related to computer science. So everything related to programming, everything related to like logic, I would be I would pass with actually pretty good grades. But everything related to like theory, very hard theory, like let me think, um, calculus or geometry or discrete math, I would just fail completely. And it took me so many months to realize that I wasn't going anywhere that I just got extremely anxious by the fact that I couldn't manage to finish the degree if I didn't pass those. And I was failing semester after semester, and I just felt extremely frustrated. So because of that, I chose to leave the federal university, which is something that so many people judge me for. I mean, there's a lot of people that would kill someone to uh, to even join the university, and for me to leave it is just preposterous. I mean, uh, there's people there's people out there that really want the degree, and I just felt like I was gonna take so much uh, to get a degree that I had to leave. So I left, and that was my first mistake, and like I forever blame myself for having done that because I know I'm capable of passing those subjects. I just had to study. I just had to focus, but I didn't. So I came back to the private university, and like I I was there for a while, and I managed to go to the fifth semester, I think, and complete the fifth semester. By the time that happened, it was already COVID, so COVID happened, and that completely messed up all the universities, and uh, we had to deal with like how do you call it, like studying from far away pretty much, which is like so bad. I hate it. It's horrible. I like being in class and like talking to people, and like asking questions if I don't understand things. It's like when you study in an environment where you can just slack off and go watch movie, go play a game. It just feels like such a bad way to learn. So I didn't develop anything in the time that I was studying uh, from far away, and it was horrible. Um, I didn't finish university because of that. So that so now maybe I'm painting the picture to you where it's like, oh, okay, it's understandable that he took a lot of time because he made the wrong choice of leaving the federal university, and then now there's COVID, so there's like an extra year or 2 years where you're not productive because of the methodology of how you have to study. So some years go by, and um, COVID is like chilling a bit down, and on 2022, I uh, I I have a situation. So remember, actually, I don't know if I said this on this recording or the last one because I've deleted so many recordings over the situation with the microphone. But I have panic attacks, and I have them ever since I was ever since I was a child. And on 2022, these panic attacks they just morphed into complete another panic. I was unable to function, and I I lost completely the ability to live my life. And because of that, I I already had like people and I already had connections with psychiatrists, with psychologists, just because I had that situation happen to me before, with panic attacks. Um, so I've I've talked to them, and they told me that I needed better counseling. So I needed a new team, so a new psychiatrist and a new psychologist to take control of the situation that's been going on with my life. So I tried that, but midway through trying that, it got to a point where it was so bad that I was essentially feeling suicidal over it because I felt like it was never going to end. So I tell my parents that I don't have any other choice but to uh, you know, get admitted to a psych ward because I felt like it was impossible to deal with that situation. And it's what my psychiatrist said. I mean, she said that if it all goes to shit, you have facilities that can help you. So healthcare in Brazil is free, but for situations like these, psychiatric healthcare is like very expensive and it's not free. Um, and my health insurance didn't cover the facility that I wanted to be admitted in because it was a very high end facility, and my parents didn't want me to go to like a public 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 one because the structure there is really bad, and I mean you're already in a crisis situation, and it's so much worse if you have to deal with like having to go through that as well. So they they make the choice of privately admitting me to the facility, which means that they have to pay for it. And I'm telling you guys, if you ever think that like money is an issue, you do not understand the scale of how much it costs to be admitted to a psych facility. Like you're losing so much money daily that you're gonna be indebted for like years to come because of the situation we've been put in. And that's exactly the case. I mean, I was admitted for 2 weeks, and um, I received a lot of attention, um, and I took a batch of medication, which very hard medication. I was constantly being checked up by my psychiatrist at the time, um, by the psychologist. The facility itself has a team, and when you're inside it, um, you have to like get counsel from them and not your own team. So I met my new psychologist from there, and I didn't know at the time that he was going to be my psychologist, but the guy is so good that I felt like we made a good connection at that moment of crisis. And so we we hit it off really well, and he understands my issues, and um, so yeah, it was a good time to to receive care for him. So after the 15 days that I get admitted, the money pretty much just ends. My parents can't pay any longer. The health insurance doesn't take our requests to pay it, even a portion of it. So I have to leave, and I leave for a week. And that week that I came back home, I essentially tried to kill myself, because I I just couldn't manage. Like, it was insufferable. Um, my parents didn't have the structure, the means to make me safe, essentially. So they put me back in for another week on the same facility, and that was with uh, the money we had on reserve. So I was there for a week, and I wasn't ready to leave. And um, so what happened was that they they pretty much gave me an ultimatum, which was you either go to the public facility and receive care because you need it, or you go to our hospital, daycare hospital, and you stay there for months. Um, so the daycare hospital is pretty much not a full time um, facility where people stay there for like the whole day. You just stay there for like until 3 p.m. And there's activities and there's some structure, but it's not the same structure as the main facility. The main facility, like, they have psychologists, they have like people watching you all the time, so it's not the same. Like, the facility on the daycare is much like weaker. But I stayed there for months, and I developed my situation over time, and eventually I managed to, like, uh, get a little bit better. And then a miracle happens. My aunt, she has um, a health insurance company. It's not exactly a company, but basically, because of her job, she has better healthcare, and her healthcare covers the facility. So because I'm her niece, um, I I get the ability to get that health insurance. And usually when you change between health insurances, you can't really get everything that you want from the health insurance at day one. It doesn't make sense, right? So if you, like, going to the psych ward is very expensive. The health insurance is not gonna want you to, like, uh have they don't want you to go through the situation where you're making expenses from day one to them, but because I had such a long history on the other health insurance, that I just didn't have anything, um, and I've never needed any, like, real, uh, surgery or things like that. It carried over to the new health insurance, and I managed to use the things that I needed to use to go to the psych ward. So I managed to admit myself there for a month, and it's very good for me. Like, it makes the situation so much better, and I finally began to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I get the treatment that I need, and I'm getting better. So uh, some time go over, um, and I essentially beat that situation. So that was in the beginning of 2022, and I managed to go through all of that until the end of September. And then I get admitted a fourth time because of an attempted suicide. And that had nothing to do with the entire, like, disease situation. Um, so it was a a thing that, like, had nothing to do with that. But I got better as well from that. And yeah, so I lost an entire year because of that. And then 2023 comes in, and it's a pretty uneventful year. I managed to like uh, just live it normally. And yeah, so what to learn from that? Um, having gone through that situation where all hope was lost and I thought I was going to die, and because guys, you have to understand what was happening to me. I wasn't able to sleep. I kept seeing things in my sleep. I kept hearing voices. I kept like fucking I was completely like on edge all the time. I thought I was going insane, like actually going insane. Like it got to a point that my psychiatrist, the one that was like, with me at the time, he said that it's better for me to like be uh like have a serious mental condition than to have this and have no idea what the fuck it is. So it was a very difficult thing to like to deal with, but I managed to go through with that. Um, and so I got back on track like slowly. I still have some lingering sensations about it, and my life has not been quite the same ever since. But I'm trying to like just reconnect with my university and try to get a degree and have a life where I'm the owner of my own fates essentially, right? Because I'm still living with my parents, and it's something that is quite normal in Brazil actually. People live with with their parents for like until they're 30, and that's completely normal. That's just due to the socio-economic situation of Brazil. But in my situation, like I have all the power in the world after going through so much in my life um to just outgrow like failure and get something valuable out of life. I love programming. I love playing video games. I want to make a living. I want to like make more friends and then have my own home, maybe study abroad, maybe work abroad. I have so many like dreams in my life, but right now I'm stuck because it just feels like I'm in an endless loop where I'm trying to get myself back on my feet and pass the subjects in my university, which is something that hasn't worked because my university changed like owners and they changed the methodology about how it goes, and they need you to like do projects with other people, and I just can't do that shit. Like I don't know how to manage that. So it hasn't worked for me. And but I don't want to be a little child and think that um the world is against me, and I have to shape the world into something uh that I can manage. No, I know that there are rules where people do this. I mean, the methodology is the way it is because when you eventually go into the market, like you're gonna be um, you're gonna be working on projects with people where you have teams and you have to collaborate. But right now, I just can't focus on making these projects with people, you know. And honestly, it's not because of the people themselves; it's because of the difficulty of the project. Maybe I don't know the language, the programming language that is required. Maybe I don't know the framework or whatever the fuck the reason is. Um, so it's just so I wish the learning curve was like as flat as possible, but it isn't. And because it isn't, I have had difficulty dealing with it. Um, I'm gonna. So the video is about to end. We have 7 minutes back on the left on the key. So I'm gonna close up by saying this. I've lost a friend in August. He was a very kind friend to me. It was a person that, unlike me, managed to conquer that independency, where he passed a government job. Like he uh, he had a test, and he took a very big test, like between a lot of people, and he passed it. And it's a very good job that, like, there's no way you get fired over it because it's a government job. And he loved working about it. He would talk about it all the time with us. Um, and it was something to do with fiscalization and stuff like that. But he managed to, like, integrate his working life with his hobbies. So he would work from 9 to 5, and then he would go back home and play video games and, like, talk with us and talk with their friends. To me, living like that, it may look like it's such a shitty life and, like, such a basic life where nothing happens, but to me, that's conquering the world, because it's exactly what I want. It's exactly what I envision myself in the future. Maybe not living here in Brazil. I mean, because of the remote nature of my job, I can, um, of my field. I mean, I can just live anywhere and just work as a programmer, right? But having him not be here anymore has put such a stale taste in my mouth. Life doesn't feel the same, you know? Even though I've gone through a lot in my teenage years, with the panic attack situation and all of that, when grass grows, when time passes, when you see cars go by, and they don't stop because that person's not here anymore, it just it puts you it puts a reality check through your skull, meaning that life doesn't stop because someone died. To many, he's just a statistic. To me, he was one of the main reasons why I had joy in life. Um, Obviously, dealing with loss is a very complicated matter, and it's not one-sided. Like, it's not easy, obviously. But I feel like one day it's gonna make sense. You know, maybe maybe it won't in the future, but I feel it will, because I'm gonna carry his legacy forever. I never want to forget who he was in my life, you know? Um, so yeah. So what do we plan for the future? Um, so you speak English, you like programming, you like gaming. I mean, you're fairly intelligent, I guess. Um, so you have something to live for. You can plan your life, like, to do something great. You don't have to, like, just suffer in mediocrity. You can actually have a very cool life. Maybe live in a cool place. So what do you do? Situations like these, I crumble because I don't know how to deal with, like, the option of everything. When you leave school, when you leave college, that's it. Like, you have the entire world to work with. And for me, that's just crazy because I don't know how to deal with that. And it's been that way for quite some time now. Um, Honestly, I want to live in Japan, rural Japan. Like, do you remember what I told you about my friend and him, like, working 9 to 5 and then logging on to like talk to his friends online. That's what I want. Live in a chill place, have a healthy lifestyle, um, connect with my parents, connect with my brother, my sister, um, just live. I don't want to sit on a computer screen, sit on a chair in front of a computer screen inside my room, my parents' like house, um, and think that that's gonna be my life for the rest of my days. I want to get out of this. I have worked with projects. Um, I have tried studying, and it's going really well actually. Uh, I I have made some projects last year, and I really like the subjects that I've learned um, with the projects that I've done. And if you see my videos, you know that I'm trying to make a project for the game that I play. And it's a pretty big project. But yeah, I want to get that done and maybe kickstart my life. Maybe maybe this project that I'm gonna do is the start of something very cool. And then out of it, I put it on my resume and I get offered a very cool job. And maybe that job enables me to have like independency and I start living my life. And I don't have to worry about like the time that I had to go through back in 2022 where I had this mental issue and all of that. I'm afraid. I'm afraid that I'm going to like go abroad and not have the infrastructure, my parents, my family to help me if I am to break apart emotionally. So as you can see, we timed the key with 4 seconds left. Um, but yeah. So what do we learn from this? Um, I'm not sure, but I wish to see these things realized, and maybe I will one day. See you.